Okay, here's next installment of Ampeg Gemini II G15 video. Let's see. Here you can see that we've sorted out the mess that was all that loose, free flying capacitors and balance resistors and all of the jazz that you've seen in the first couple videos. New power cords installed with a new strain relief. You can see I add a little hot melt here because the chassis is so thin that the strain relief would move a little bit. It would lock in there, but the groove in the strain relief's thicker than the chassis, so I just put a little hot melt there to keep it solid. So now we've got it all wired back up to the power switch and standby switch the way it's supposed to be. You can see that the hot wire goes to the center of the fuse. We got a good safety ground. Let's see, let me find my little pointer here. Here we go. So, new filter cap can. You can see we've got a brand new 40-40-40 at 525 volts. It's nice and solid. You can see nothing moves. Nothing moves when you shake the power cord. Nothing moves when you shake the can capacitor. We got a new twist lock ring. The phenolic piece here has been replaced. All the stuff's been sorted out. Let's see, first filter node goes to these two paralleled 40 sections for a total of 80. We've got the new 3-watt screen dropping resistor, 470 ohms. We've got the new wire for the screen node, new wire there for the screens. Got the new dual section can cap, nice tidy wiring back to the nodes where it's supposed to go. Got a new ground for that going back to this can cap. Let's see, this ground bus, actually there is no chassis ground at the main filter, which I believe is the original way for this amp. This all comes back through, and actually everything grounds back to the input jack. Pretty common for some amps to do that. Let's see what else. We sorted out the negative feedback wire that I mentioned before. This had been disconnected. Let's see, when I hooked it back up, we noticed that the amp howled like crazy, which means that we were getting positive feedback instead of negative feedback. So that means I had to take this here gray wire, this here blue wire, and reverse them. So whoever put in the transformer, I don't know if they had the howling issue with the positive feedback with these leads reversed and disconnected this because they didn't know if they reversed these wires that the feedback would work, or for some other reason, I don't know. But anyway, it's hooked up the way it's supposed to be now. We've got the equivalent of the we'll call it the 8 ohm speaker lead here, this green wire feeding the 8 ohm speaker jacks, and then this yellow wire would be the equivalent of the 16 ohm jack, which is, or 16 ohm tap of the output transformer, which is supposed to feed this negative feedback. What else? New bias cap and new bias diode underneath there. The old ones were probably okay, but since we were recapping everything else, it was just a few seconds and a couple bucks to throw in a new one and a new diode. The old diode was a modern one, but I didn't like the way that the leads were all mangled and crinkled by whoever installed it, so I put a new one. They're only a couple cents. Let's see. Next, after power supply was all sorted out, took the old power tubes, tried to get it going and get it biased, but the one of the output tubes would not bias. One was idling with I don't know, I guess a relatively normal current, but the other one was really, really low current. So either there was some problem with the tube, or you know, something in the tube shorted, whatever. But anyway, we got a new set of power tubes. Got those installed. Bias was a bit on the hot side, so let's see. We had the, you know, we got the bias trim pot here, and then we got this little green wire, and then this this resistor that goes to ground. I had to change the value of that resistor to get a little more negative voltage to the tubes to get them to bias to acceptable range. So now they're biased relatively cool right now. I got them, you know, right around 60% dissipation, so they should be good. Next was, yeah, got the amp all fired up, started doing some playing tests and stuff, and decided to go ahead and check these preamp tubes to see what condition they were in, and etc. And here's what I found. Let's see, we'll call it the V7 tube, which is, and the schematic is here. That's a 12AX7. We can go over to the tube tester here, and we see that that's the tube there. Here's the tester. Tube tests good if it reads 22 or more on the scale. There's two sections of the tube. There's section 1, and there's section 2. This button's a little sticky, so come on, there we go. So you can see it's testing weak. You know, they don't get anywhere close to 22. So that's a weak tube. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sound bad, but probably be better if we got a good one in there. Next was, let's see, next was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6CG7, which is the reverb driver. That tube tests fine. This 1, 2, 3, 4, this V5, which was here, this is the two gain stages for channel 1. That actually had the wrong tube in there. That's this thing. This is ECC 82, which I think this is equivalent of a 12AU7. And it's supposed to be a 12AX7. This is a much lower gain tube, so that channel would probably, you know, sound relatively weak with that tube in there. And the next one was the V4, another 12AX7. That one also tests weak. That's another JJ tube. It's still in there. We haven't substituted that one yet. And then the next tube that I tested was this this phase inverter tube with 7199, but someone converted this amp over to a 6U8, and that one also tests weak, and that's testing, you know, maybe 50% on the scale in the tube tester over there. So it's probably get some new preamp tubes. You know, like I said, it works with the ones that are in here. And lastly, even with the with a stronger tube in V4, sorry, V7, which is this first one right here. This is what the one half of this V7 is, I think, the reverb driver, and the other half is the tremolo oscillator. And the tremolo with, you know, with the correct tube in there is still weak. It's a little better, but it's still weak. So I think what we got to do is we got to look at replacing this bypass cap and the rest of these guys, which I have the parts for. I just haven't done it yet. So that's it. Long, boring video. That's all for now.